He's near the wall. He's at the wall, and it's gone. A home run for Eddie Julian.
Line down the left field line. That's going to score Miranda. So Bader drives in a run.
Swung on a miss. He struck him out. Bailey Ober fans a pair.
And gone. Wallner has tied it up with a 2-run homer.
Ball hit high in the air for Ty France. See you later. Bounces up onto the boardwalk. It's a 3-run shot for Ty France.
Today's game was brought to you by Target, proud partner of the Twins.
This has been a presentation of the Treasure Island Baseball Network.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey Sports, presented by Indeed. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire.
So the Twins go down. They go to 4-9. Not a great start to the season for sure. 3-2 as the Twins lose that series against Kansas City. We've got lots coming up for you on Drive Time with DeRusha, including a conversation about taxing social media. Not you, taxing the social media companies. We'll talk about that after Laura Oakes gets you up to date on the news.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Cloudy, 48 degrees at 4:18, and another protest against Trump administration cuts in St. Paul today, this time from state health department employees.
Having safe drinking water, food, vaccines actually are one of the bigger causes of higher life expectancy in the U.S. And when you start stripping some of those things away, you start having people die earlier, have more issues that actually cost our state and our country more than preventing some of these issues.
170 MDH employees are set to lose their jobs as a result of federal funding cuts. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty sharing new details today about the state's first ever felony wage theft conviction.
59-year-old Frederick Newell has been found guilty of wage theft and swindle after allegedly underpaying 6 of his employees at least $37,000 for painting and cleaning labor in 2020. Moriarty calls Newell's efforts sophisticated and intentional.
We thought this crime was more serious than the typical crime because of the number of victims, the fact that it had a major economic impact, and the sophistication of it. And the judge found that all of those factors were present.
She added that this is just the first of many cases that the Worker Protection Unit expects to uncover and prosecute. Newell's sentencing is scheduled for June 6th. Outside the Hennepin County Government Center, I'm Taylor Rivera. News Talk 830. WCCO.
After dozens of calls to police and fire over the past several months, the city of St. Paul is preparing to shut down a homeless encampment under the Lafayette Bridge. The Union Gospel Mission's Sarah Paterka telling WCCO's Jordana Green they've been out there every day offering shelter and meals, but unfortunately those offers often fall on deaf ears.
They had bad experiences with a shelter in the past, or folks are just not ready to want to accept help. Sometimes you've got to hit that lowest point to be ready to accept some help.
Paterka says drug and alcohol addiction is typically the reason why people don't want to leave homeless shelters. She says while UGM does not allow substance use on its campus, they do work with other shelters that do. With more workers returning to downtown Minneapolis offices, the Skyway is looking to reap the rewards.
If there's one message about the downtown Minneapolis Skyway 5 years after the COVID-19 pandemic,
we're open for business, we're seeing traffic increase, and we have a lot of unique spaces where cool things could happen.
That's Lisa Midegg with the Minneapolis Downtown Council and Downtown Improvement District. Right now, the Skyway business occupancy rate is 73% with nearly 700 active and occupied businesses.
Vacancy feels pretty prevalent. I'm sure as you've walked around, you see a vacant space. We have about 260 vacancies.
From coffee shops to banks, barbers, and even daycares, Midegg says COVID changed the Skyway's landscape.
There's some retail, but it's not retail of the kind that we used to see.
Mark Fry, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Yes, it is the weekend golf lovers look forward to all year. The Masters, 95 players started today's opening round, with the winner to be crowned and adorned in that coveted green jacket on Sunday. Former WCCO radio reporter Paul Hodawanek is covering the tourney for the first time as a writer for PGA.com. He says Augusta National truly is as stunning as it appears on TV.
Everything is perfectly in place, perfectly manicured. There's not a piece of pine straw, not in its position that it should be. And it's just the tournament that everyone wants to win every year. It's the tournament players grow up thinking about, and it's the tournament that I grew up wanting to go to.
Rory McIlroy and last year's winner Scotty Scheffler are considered the favorites to win the Masters this year. WCCO News Time is 4:22.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Got a crash causing delays for 35E northbound as you make way towards Cedar Avenue. Look for the right lane to be affected. There's one vehicle that went up against the sound barrier. So it's up against the wall up on the hill. Also activity on the left shoulder, so do use caution in the area. It's going to be heavy southbound as well as you come down from Cliff Road. If you're going to be traveling I-94 eastbound, that's a slow ride. Out of the Lowry Hill Tunnel over to Riverside, up on the north side, 610 eastbound and 252. Had an accident working on the left side. That has cleared out in the last few minutes. Still a bit slow, though, coming in from Broadway. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The scattered showers return tonight. It will be rain because it stays mild enough. 38 the overnight low. A little cooler tomorrow with a high of 50. We'll have a chance of those scattered showers early in the day. The warm-up kicks in Friday. 59 for the high. 68 the high Saturday. A shot at 70 still on Sunday.
Cloudy right now, 48 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
When he showed up, when he ever did show up, it wasn't very nice.
There's other instances, though, where he just shows up places and he's like this great guy. But I've also heard that he can be quite difficult.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Well, here we go. Drive Time with DeRusha on the air after the Twins game. What a gloomy day. Just outside, the cloudy skies. I took a shower today and got soap in my right eye. You ever had that happen? You get something in your eye, and then for the rest of the day, you look like you are an absolute, like someone punched you in the face, or you have some sort of deadly infection. I feel like I want to have a T-shirt that just says it's just soap in my eye. I don't have the plague. It's Drive Time. It's Jason. Laura's keeping you up to date on the news. Dan is here as well. We have lots to talk about today. I want to start with this absolutely crazy approach coming from Minnesota. And maybe you think I'm wrong, but I think that this, man, is there a tax that the Democrats in Minnesota don't like? Like, we're just coming up with new stuff all the time. Last year it was taxing Amazon, the Amazon deliveries and FedEx and whatever, those deliveries to your door. Like, we got to figure out how to get some money out of that. Now we've got top Democrats who want to tax social media companies. Now, follow the theory of this and give me a call at 651-461-9226 or text in. Because my just gut reaction to this is, one, this is crazy. Two, you guys could look to maybe cut some spending somewhere instead of making this money off of taxes. Social media companies, the theory is this. And you're like, where's the sale? Right? Like your Facebook, your X, your Instagram, your all of that. And I'm on all of those platforms. I like it. Even on days that, like today, where like the army of attackers have come for me, it's still fun. I enjoy hearing from you. I enjoy mixing it up. I enjoy the comedy. I do pay. I pay a little bit. I guess I should pay tax on that. There's a sale. But Minnesota is going even farther than that. Minnesota Democrats want large companies with more than 1 million users to pay $165,000 a month as essentially a tax for profiting off of consumer data. Now, if you're a smaller platform, like I don't know. What are some of the things that popped up when everybody was saying, well, I'm done with X, Elon?
Blue Sky?
Blue Sky probably has more than 100,000 users.
Mastodon?
Oh, remember that?
Yeah.
Would Mastodon have to pay $165,000 a month? I don't know. 15 social media companies would be impacted. And the surcharge would bring in about $340 million in revenue. Now, first of all, it would be nice if this state would embrace innovators and new technology. I'm in favor of some, occasionally we need some limits. I like some of the protections we've been talking about for children. But the idea that you're going to tax somebody because they make money off of your data in this sort of other way, it just shows it's a mindset to me where you say, are people just sitting around dreaming up new ways that they can collect money? To me, this makes 0 sense. 0 cents. 651-461-9226 is our number. Now, there is a chance that this violates federal law. We are at a time, Dan, where don't let the chance that your idea violates some constitution or federal law, don't let that stop you.
Well, we're already in all kinds of trouble in this state with the feds anyway, so.
Where do we think this administration would be coming in? Look, our problems in Minnesota with the budget are pretty simple. 1, we spent too much. 2, we have not figured out how to pay for the fact that our population is getting older and we have more people with special needs. That's it. So when that is your problem, it is difficult to do anything other than come up with crazy ideas, I guess. You have divided government. All you can, I guess we're just throwing out stuff that maybe people will say yeah, stick it to Snapchat, stick it to TikTok.
Why not just raise the cigarette tax for the upteenth time?
Well, that's a classic.
We love to stick it to the smokers.
That's a classic. So theoretically, the tax chair says if we did this, no Minnesotan would pay, not one. And we reduced income taxes by $340 million over the next 4 years. Would you rather be paying? Who would you rather be paying? All of you or social media platforms? There is a shift that has happened in our society, right? Here in Minnesota, we probably are producing more services than goods. Figuring out how to tax a service is more challenging. But trying to tax Facebook or TikTok, which we pay with our data, it's sort of free, but not really free, right? We pay with our data. To me, it's just, I guess kudos for creativity. But I'm a no. I'm a no on this one. Let's go to the phones. 651-461-9226. Mark is on the line from Minneapolis. Mark, thanks for calling. Do you think this is a smart way to try to get a couple $100 million?
No, smart is not the word I would use. Just the opposite. I'm a left of center independent, but this is just a dumb idea. But but I think I know where it comes from. This is just another manifestation of late stage capitalism. Anything to make a buck. That's the American way. We have legislators that are basically P.T. Barnum in bet suits.
I like that. I mean, I can't even argue with you. I can't even argue with you.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that is it. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Now, another 612 texter is saying, what concerns me is when the source for that particular tax revenue, in this case, social media, dries up. So, in other words, perhaps someday social media is no longer a big deal, so it goes away. I'm reminded of the pandemic when a lot of the retail and hospitality industry provided zero tax revenue to Bloomington, for example. So, like, there is a hospitality tax that is a big deal in Bloomington, the hotels, as people come from all of America. When that money went away, all of a sudden it's gone, and now Bloomington has to figure it out. I do agree that, like, having a tax like this narrow on this narrow of a business it is setting you up for that same issue, that same challenge. And another texter points out that $296 million in federal funding for Minnesota has been canceled by the Trump administration right now. And so does this is $340 million. This maybe makes a little bit of a step to make up for that. I suppose the more fundamental question here is when you look at social media, most of us think of it as a free thing. And here the legislators are saying, no, it's not free. We are paying. The exchange of value is your data. But trying to figure out a way to tax that, who else is using your data? Should we tax everybody that's using your data? And then all of these companies, honestly, like Minnesota, are we that big of a deal? If you're Facebook, look, if I'm Facebook, I'm like, that's cool, Minnesota. Like, we're just going to shut her down in Minnesota. We're fine. We're not going to miss you. Let's go to Jill in Minnetonka on the CCO Talk and Text line. Jill, it's creative. I'll give them that. But taxing, and far be it to me to be the one to stand up for Mark Zuckerberg. I guess that's not my intention here. It's just more the idea, to me, makes no sense. What do you think?
Well, I'm with you on that part of it. But, I mean, whoever this person is that's saying, oh, well, then this enables us to reduce people's income tax by hundreds of millions of dollars. Trust me, they are absolutely incapable of reducing income taxes. They'll just spend it on something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we saw that with the giant surplus, right? And a lot of the things that the surplus was spent on, like, I agree with these priorities, but today we're at a point where you say, like, all right, looking ahead, we don't have the money. So we got to figure out what are the needs and what are the wants. And some of the wants have to go away, right?
Oh, exactly. And I am all for feeding needy children, but if they put 5 minutes of thought into it, they could figure out a way to not shame children and make people who can well afford it pay for their children's meals.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to come up with a way to do that. Jill, thank you. You know, you guys know I'm on the board of Second Harvest Heartland. I'm very in favor of the program in Minnesota that gives universal school meals. But if someone has a reasonable way, you know, like I will say personally, I don't think if your family makes more than $150,000 a year, you should have to pay for music class, or you should have to pay, for toilet paper in the bathroom, or you should have to pay an electricity fee for the lights to be on in the school. So that to me, like having lunch is right in that same category. If you were to design the education system today from the ground up, you would not make people pay for lunch. You're making it compulsory for kids 16 and under to be in school for 8 or 10 or whatever it is. So making certain people pay for lunch, to me, I just don't think there's any way you would design it that way. That said, like I'm open to ideas around that. Certainly, if you wanted to have a voluntary way where which parents could do now if they wanted to. But the problem is the state wants that money, not the individual school district. So you're at, how are you going to make that work? I don't know. Texters at 651-461-9226. Dan, no one's in favor of this.
I'm shocked.
There is a fundamental problem, I think, that Democrats have, especially in this state, which is ever since I started paying attention to politics, have been branded as the party of taxing.
Yes.
That there's never been a tax that they don't like. And so some of these outside the box ideas that they bring to the table, it is very difficult to look at it other than here's another money grab. Instead of saying we're going to be better stewards of your money, we're going to look for, whether you like Doge or not, Doge has again given the Republican Party the mantle of we're the ones who are going to take care of your money.
Yeah.
And is that fair? Well, not really. Historically, every politician likes spending your money. Historically, no party has any real ownership of this idea that they are the lower spenders. They're just not.
No, Republicans, in more recent, and I'm talking in historical terms, more recent times, obviously are the party that wants to cut your taxes. They just don't want to necessarily spend any less. There's, a handful of them that are screaming and hollering, we need to spend less, we need to spend less. But when it comes down to actually cutting stuff, nobody wants to do that because nobody wants to take money away from people that are using it and have that branded upon them. So I get that. Now, but to your point about the Democrats, looking poor in this regard, look at who likes social media companies these days? Nobody.
Yeah.
Right? This is the big bad corporations that we all dislike. And here comes Minnesota saying maybe we should tax those folks, and people are all, no, absolutely not. Not more, no more tax. Really? That's how bad
how bad the idea is.
You can't even tax the bad guys at this point.
That's very good. We don't have a break, do we?
We can take one any time, but technically we'd be about 5-6 minutes away.
Why don't we?
You want to take it now? We can take it now.
Well, I don't know what to do. Let's take the break.
Sure.
And then we'll come back and do DeRusha Eats.
Okay.
The question, or we could start DeRusha Eats now.
Technically you could.
How about I do that? Why don't you hit the DeRusha Eats open? You guys don't want, do you guys want a commercial? Do you want a commercial?
No.
Hell no. All right. Well, we won't take it.
DeRusha, he has the eats. Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like our favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard as Drivetime transitions into DeRusha Eats.
And DeRusha Eats is brought to you by Surdyk's Liquor and Cheese Shop. They got their Easter wine sale in effect right now. So check that out over at University in Hennepin at Surdyk's, and by the Minnesota Pork Board. Would really appreciate it if you'd have yourself a pork chop for dinner tonight. Now, last night, I went, a rare occurrence, Dan. I went to 2 restaurants in one night. I went to Starling and Edina.
See, I don't know that I feel like that would be that rare of an occurrence for you.
It used to be very common, but it is fairly rare now.
Okay.
Post-COVID.
I'll take your word for it. But
post-COVID, I just don't do that as much anymore
had you gone on the air and said, I went to 2 restaurants like I do at least 3 times a week, I also would have believed that. So,
well, it's for research. It's for the sake.
Absolutely.
So our friends at Jester Concepts are nice enough to sponsor Cardi Sharks on Friday. So I went to their restaurant, Starling, for dinner. And Sam and Alyssa and I had dinner. And then Sam went home to do homework. And Alyssa and I went to 50th and France to Mothership Pizza. And as we walk into this restaurant in Edina around 8:30, Ainsley, who was a longtime bartender here in the Twin Cities, I think he was general managing the restaurant last night. He's like, holy cow, someone walking in the door at 8:30. I can't believe it. And we started talking about how late is the latest you would go for a dinner reservation. 651-461-9226. The reservations are open. And it's a place you want to go to. And the only thing that's open is 8:30. Would you do it? I think a lot of Minnesotans would be out. 8:30, too late. 8 o'clock. Now imagine what would your restaurant be? Or what, like some new pizza place that's doing it just the way you like?
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But just for theoretical sense.
Yeah.
So like, would you do 8:30?
I mean, that'd be pushing it.
It's pushing it.
It's pushing it. I mean, it depends. A lot of that depends for me. How late did I have lunch? How hungry am I?
Yeah.
Do I have to eat now or can I wait a little bit? I'm not one that so enjoys everything about the dining experience.
Yeah, you don't. Right.
That, well, if I really want to go to someplace nice, then I'm willing to wait. So, I mean, I would just, you say, the heck with it and go to an Applebee's.
Well, right. Yeah.
That's me.
I think that's pretty common. But I do think, like, even with family restaurants, so the reputation in South Minneapolis, Edina, is the same, I think, in almost every suburb out there, which is people start coming in at 5 o'clock early, and then they're done by 7:30. Anything after 7:30 is sort of late. And post-COVID, because people sort of really got used to the technology where you can just get delivery to your house, it's even worse. I just thought that was very interesting. This, Minnesota has a reputation, the Midwest, is sort of an early to eat, early supper. You have your early supper, and then you sit down with your programs, and then
what were you guys calling this? Like second dinner, or what was the idea?
Well, we were just going to have a drink.
Okay.
That was it. But then, then you're like, wow.
As long as I'm here.
Let's try the calamari.
The kitchen's open.
How about those roasted vegetables? Why not?
There's a phrase I've never uttered in my entire life.
How about those roasted vegetables? You don't like a roasted vegetable?
I don't like vegetables, roasted or otherwise.
What is your favorite vegetable?
That's like asking, what is your favorite open sore?
651-461-9226 if you want to weigh in on the early time eating. On Facebook, Michael is watching our live stream. And when I said 8:30, Michael says, no. By the time you're finished eating, it's bedtime. That is part of it. If you sit down at 8:30, you're done at 10, 9:30.
Yeah. How many people are watching the 10 p.m. news in bed, getting ready to go to sleep?
Now that I'm not on the news, everyone's like, forget it. To hell with it. Dan's in Lake Minnetonka. Dan, you're in one of those roll-up. Well, I hope you're not in Lake Minnetonka. That's what Dan wrote on the sheet.
Not in it. Not today.
I know it's ice out. It's ice out, but I hope you're not in it. How late would you do an 8:30 reservation?
Easily 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Yeah.
Easily. We wish there were more places that serve dinner at last eating at 9. We wish there were more.
Yes. I like a late, especially like on a Thursday or Friday night, if you could have a late night dinner, kind of relax, stay up, especially now the NBA season is still going on. So you get like a West Coast game that starts at.
Yeah.
Where do you have a go-to that is a late night spot that you go to?
Yeah, Gianni's is open pretty late out in YZ. Just did what's the new place? Lynn, what is that called? Right in Excelsior, you know it. And we were there till about 9:30, 10 o'clock the other night.
That's pretty good.
Lynn Hall, what is it called? I know you know.
Yeah,
it's the old like repair shop there in Excelsior.
Oh, yes. And I don't know. I'm blanking. I'll think of it in 2 minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it was excellent, but we were there. We came in last. We were there. They said they had last meeting at 8. We probably left at 9:30, maybe quarter to 10.
Yeah.
And it was great. And who cares about the 10 o'clock news now?
Exactly. Ley line. You're thinking of ley line, right?
Ley line. Yes. Thank you. I'm so sorry about that.
I knew I'd get there. I knew It to
you
me.
would know it. Yeah.
You do feel a little strange now at Mothership Pizza. We were there until 9:30 or so, but right around 9:15 they start like, I don't know, they were cleaning up a little bit, and you're like, am I like, I don't want to hold you up. You start to feel guilty.
I always ask, am I holding you up? Am I keeping? Oh no. We gotta kind of put away stuff anyways. And we are always the ones. Jewel and I are always looking behind us because we were eating at the bar, and we were looking around. Okay, we're still not last. We're still not last. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we look behind us and everybody's gone.
That's exactly right. Dan, I'm sure I will see you around soon. Out at a late night play.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Marcia's on the line in St. Paul. Now, Marcia, you got it tough in St. Paul. Even like the Lexington closes at 10 on like Friday and Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you something, Jason. I've been listening and laughing. This is so funny. When I was younger, in 30s, 40s, 20s, up until 10, 11, no problem. And there were always places to go with my girlfriends. But now that I'm a wee bit older, I'm in bed by then. And so if we go out a little bit later, we continue my great family tradition for generations of closing down the place wherever we go. We're the last ones always.
Yes. And that is a good tradition, I think. Like you feel like you did something good that night,
You almost feel like you work there, like your family,
Marcia, very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Daniel said 8:30 is fine. And Daniel's watching us live on X. 8:30 is fine if we don't have to worry about a babysitter. Yep, that's fair. The babysitter issue is challenging. We have a fair number of friends who have younger kids. And it is funny when you're like, I'm mostly done. I can get home at 11 or midnight. It doesn't matter. It's fine. But if you have an 8-year-old and you have a 14-year-old babysitter, you start to get a little worried. Or maybe you're being cheap and you don't want to pay the babysitter for that extra hour. Maybe that's the challenge. Great stuff. Thanks, everybody. That's DeRusha Eats more. Drive Time coming up in just a minute. Stay right here.
Jason DeRusha returns shortly with more of Drive Time on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's talk about skincare. And I'm talking about, yes, Tureen Dermatology takes care of your kind of cosmetic skincare, all of those things. Man, the team is unbelievable at all their locations. But I want to talk about the more important stuff, the cancer removal, the suspicious looking spot, the kind of discomfort or itchiness that you've been dealing with too long. Tureen Dermatology is really, their whole mission is to make you feel good. Feel good in your skin. Not be worried about melanoma or skin cancer. My father has had so many cancerous growths removed. So I am extra vigilant about getting my full body skin checkup every year, and I do it with Dr. Mohiba Tureen. Now, Tureen Dermatology has 9 locations. They just opened 2 new spots. They're in Lakeville. They're in Lindstrom. You can book an appointment online. They're in Farmington. They're in Hudson. They're in Eagan. They're everywhere. Monticello. Go see them at Tureen Dermatology, Tareen dermatology.com. Schedule that appointment today. They'll get you in within 3 weeks. That's Tureen Dermatology.
One 877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
If daily fantasy sports is your thing, then welcome to Prize Picks. Henry Lake of The Lake Show to talk to you about the best place to get real money sports action, and that's Prize Picks. It's so simple and easy to play and make money. Prize Picks is the best place to win money while watching sports, and the app is really easy to use. Springtime is here, and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. So what do you need to do? Download the app today and use code LAKE830 to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. Use code LAKE830 to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
If your kids have moved out and you have way more space in your home than you need, you probably asked yourself if it's worth living in a home that big anymore. Hey, it's Vanita. If you're thinking about downsizing, if you're ready, contact my friend, the Good Neighbor agent, John Schuster, with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Peggy and Ray were in this situation. They'd been hearing about the Schuster Group here on CCO Radio and knew John could give them a stress-free experience while selling their home for the most money possible. Peggy and Ray got multiple offers on their home, and it sold for a great price. They got to pick their move-out date, too, and it's all thanks to the John Schuster Group. That's the kind of experience you can have. Trust my friend. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
You can find the slowdowns place West 494, Cedar, heading out toward Highway 100, North 35E near County Road 11. Had a crash working into the right lane. That has now been cleared out completely. Things running much smoother through the stretch. Crosstown eastbound, watching slowdowns there. Gleason to 35 and 94 eastbound, jammed up Highway 55 through Lauriel Tunnel, heading out toward Huron Boulevard. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
All right, the weather is brought to you by the Canopy Group. Tonight, mostly cloudy, sort of continuing the cloudy mess out there right now. Low of 38. Tomorrow, we get up to 59. Saturday, 68. Sunday, looking about the same. So there you go. The average is 55. Right now, it's 50 on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Dan sent me this story today about workplaces and backstabbing. Do you have backstabbers in your workplace? This whole story talks about new research. It says something like 61% of workers say they have been thrown under the bus at work. And the biggest offenders are Gen Zers and millennials. Now, I spent 25 years working in TV, like backstabbing and throwing people under the bus. Whoo!
It's almost an art form over there, isn't it?
Everybody I worked with was wonderful.
Not going to name any names.
I just didn't realize office politics were this nasty. Gen Zers and millennials are blame shifting, snitching, and setting others up to fail. But so are managers. 1,000 workers surveyed. 40%. Now, this is the other part of this. So 61% say, yes, I've been thrown under the bus. A third say it happens every week. 40% admitted they sabotaged a colleague to get ahead. That is
40%?
40%?
That cop to it. I mean, I believe 40% would do it, but that would actually cop to it because the number's higher than that, actually.
Wow. I'm blown away. Honestly, I am shocked. And it did make me think through, have I ever thrown somebody, have I sabotaged them? No. Have I seen it? I've seen people try. Doesn't, at least in my experience, it doesn't usually work. Yeah, let us know. You can always drop us an email, jason@odyssey.com, or send a message on all the social media platforms. We're there. At DeRusha J is pretty much everywhere. We're streaming live, too, on YouTube. It's kind of fun. YouTube.com/WCCO Radio. Check it out. CBS News and Laura Oakes coming up.
I came in over 10 years ago and I couldn't breathe ever. And ever since then, now I can breathe.
Breathe well with simple solutions at vetnose.com.
All right. A little bit of rain. Little bit of rain is going to help your lawn. It's not going to solve all your lawn problems, though, and that's why ProTurf is here. It's Jason from my friends at Professional Turf. I absolutely love this local Minnesota family-owned company. Their lawn tech, the same tech does your lawn year after year. They have a couple of guys who've been with ProTurf for 26 years. They use liquid and granule. They come to your house and they do an estimate in person. So they know the problem areas, they know the challenges, they can solve your weed issues, but they want your lawn to look healthy and your soil to be in good shape. Now, think about calling ProTurf at 952-469-8680 to have somebody come out and fire up your irrigation system. Last year, the ProTurf tech came out and did mine, found a leak, saved me money, and saved me water. They'll do it for you, too. ProfessionalTurf.com is where you can go, or call 952-469-8680.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342.
Real news, real talk in real time. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. There's been a deadly helicopter crash in the Hudson River between Manhattan and New Jersey. Reporter Marla Diamond.
Video shows it sort of floating down from the sky, and then you see a large splash.
Witnesses reported seeing parts of the helicopter fall off before the crash. 6 people were killed, including 3 children. The White House clarified today that the U.S. tariffs on China are now at 145%. President Trump said he's willing to negotiate with Beijing.
What happens with China? We would love to be able to work a deal. They've really taken advantage of our country for a long period of time. They've ripped us off.
But the markets did an about-face on the news, giving back more than half of yesterday's gains. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
So much of investing is about confidence. And it's very difficult to have confidence in an administration whose policies change day by day. And it's very difficult to build confidence once you rob confidence by making herky-jerky moves all the time.
CBS's Jim Krasula.
Businesses, big and small, are dealing with what's being called Trump administration tariffs whiplash. Adrian Sawchuk co-owns a microbrewery in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
And the challenge, too, then is obviously as prices go up,
demand goes down and people may skip a second beer or they may skip going out to dinner because they're trying to save money.
The business is expanding, and Sawchuk says increased building expenses will have to be passed on to customers. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
A war of words between Washington and Iran just ahead of the weekend talks on Tehran's nuclear program. President Trump says military action is possible if the talks fail. Iran says it could expel UN nuclear inspectors. The State Department says that would be a miscalculation. Spokeswoman Tammy Bruce downplayed expectations.
This is a meeting that is arranged. It is not part of some larger scheme or framework. It is a meeting to determine whether or not the Iranians are serious.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said his department will undertake a massive testing and research effort to determine the cause of autism. CBS's Alexander Tin.
Kennedy made the announcement with President Trump at a White House meeting after campaigning on what they have described as an epidemic of rising autism rates in the United States.
Kennedy said it will involve hundreds of scientists and the results could be known by September. The death toll from the nightclub collapse in the Dominican Republic has reached 222. Recovery workers there continue to search for victims. On Wall Street, the Dow was off 1,000. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Cloudy, 47 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. Governor Walz meeting with all 4 legislative leaders today before the Easter Passover break.
Of course, the budget and a bonding bill top of mind for lawmakers and the governor ahead of the Easter break. Roads, bridges, wastewater, drinking water, all affecting people across the state, and they say those basics will be a priority. Republican Senate Minority Leader Mark Johnson says he thinks they'll get it done on time.
So I'm optimistic and hopeful, and I think we'll keep working towards that. For the state of Minnesota, they don't need to be putting more money into a special session. Let's get this done now.
The House working under a power sharing agreement this session. DFL House Leader Melissa Hortman says it's gone well so far.
I was pleasantly surprised that we had budget targets on time. That could have certainly resulted in impasse.
In St. Paul, Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
DFL lawmakers today introducing legislation to help Minnesota federal workers losing their jobs as a result of Trump administration cuts. One measure will extend unemployment insurance benefits. Another would provide a relocation bonus for laid-off veterans to move to Minnesota. And another would create an action plan to help business owners deal with tariffs. Dan Marshall owns Mischief Toy Store in St. Paul.
We've been through the dot-com bubble burst. We've been through the Great Recession. We've been through COVID. And I honestly can say that the anxiety caused by these spiking, ridiculous tariffs that Trump has put in place over the last month has just spiked. Millie and I are just crazy with anxiety right now.
Lawmakers say they've also been hearing from state agency heads and members of the state's congressional delegation that their attempts to get answers at the federal level continue to be ignored. Protesters marching in St. Paul today to fight against funding and job cuts to the public health sector.
Due to the cuts by the Trump administration, Minnesota has lost nearly $300 million in federal funding and hundreds of jobs at the Minnesota Department of Health.
Our entire unit will be impacted if we get bumped and laid off, and there will be no one to work on vector-borne diseases.
People are fed up.
I don't think there's words to describe how all of us are feeling. Angry, tired, sad, just disheartened, because this affects every single person in Minnesota, and that's what people are failing to understand.
The march went from the Freeman Office Building to the Centennial Building, with one protester saying, hopefully this will help. In St. Paul, Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
6 years in federal prison for a former New Ulm high school teacher and coach on child pornography charges. Authorities say 54-year-old Daniel Janke of Mankato went by the name of Jack Frost when he sent multiple pornographic images of underage children to an undercover investigator. New Ulm school district officials say no local families were involved in the case. Round one of today's tornado siren test is in the books, with another planned for 6:45 this evening. It's part of Severe Weather Awareness Week in Minnesota. Minnesota Homeland Security and Emergency Management Director Kevin Reed says, unfortunately, when a tornado siren goes off, people tend to go outside to look for it, which is not what you should do.
We want you to go tune in to someplace like CCO and say, hey, what's going on? Get me the information I need, or what do I have to do? Do I need to go and shelter right now? It gives you that opportunity, hopefully a little bit of time to grab everything, get to a place of shelter in your house.
Andy says to have a go bag ready with 5 or so of the most important things you would need if you have to evacuate quickly. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Got your slowdowns, your typical stuff. North 35E as you come up from Randolph, heading into downtown St. Paul. North 169, going to find heavy stuff in place. Highway 62 to Medicine Lake Road. 694 eastbound jammed up as move past Zane. Heading out to Lexington, and for traveling Highway 10 westbound, that's a slow drive. 694 235W. Remember the good times when Matt V and the Killer Bees bring I Am, He Said, a celebration of the music of Neil Diamond back to Treasure Island. The family band will honor the legend with performances of Sweet Caroline, Cracklin' Rosie, and more hits on Wednesday, May 14th. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by Gutman Law, wills, trusts, and probate law at gutmanlaw.com. And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The showers clear out tonight as we cool back to about 38. You're going to love the next couple of days. Partly cloudy, 59 for our Friday. Partly cloudy on Saturday. It is going to be a bit breezy, but it's a warm breeze with a high in the upper 60s. I think we hang there for highs on Sunday, but we do have a chance of some rain showers.
Cloudy right now, 47 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
News that's actually news. Talk that actually matters. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie. Just DeRusha. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching the cool brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DeRusha.
I'm sitting here with a little bit of a crabbiness today. Dan's like, what is wrong with you? I've had the negative attitude, and it all dates to 9:30 this morning when I went to Cub to try to find those dang Robin's Egg Whopper candies that I couldn't find yesterday at Target. Lori, do you know what these candies are, the Robin's Eggs? It's like a malted milk ball with like a pastel-colored shell.
Well, I know what a Whopper is, so you're saying they make them.
They make like a mini Whopper, but it's not like the brown milk chocolate. It's more of like a hard candy-ish. I don't know.
Okay.
If you look up Robin's Eggs, you'll see them.
Yeah.
And you can't find them. Last year, I couldn't find them. I went from store to store to store. I think I finally found them at a Walgreens.
Do you love these? What are you looking for them
It's
for?
just tradition.
Oh, I see.
It's family tradition. It's always in the Easter egg hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Alyssa eats most of our candy in the house. Like she already has been through 2 bags of, I'm not shaming her. She's very trim. She can eat whatever she wants. Even if she weren't trim, she could eat whatever she wants. I feel like whatever I say about this is wrong.
Change the topic. Change the topic.
But I can't find the dang candy.
How about trying to buy them online? Did you do that? Did you look up? Did you try that?
I did not.
There you
All
go.
right.
That might solve your problem.
The internet, you say?
Yes.
All right. Well, after we do this, I'll look for that.
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRush Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin. with The Lead.
And the lead story is a crackdown on distracted driving. We have seen different law enforcement agencies out there working on it. And just this afternoon, news from the St. Paul Police Department that they have had a tremendous amount of success, which really isn't a success. It means a lot of people are out there with their cell phone in their hands, and they're getting tickets. Let's go now on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline to Sergeant Josh Moore of the St. Paul Police Department, who leads the distracted driving efforts. Josh, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and we appreciate your support and getting our message out there about distracted driving.
So tell us how many people got busted? This was over a 2-week period?
So just recently, we did a 5-hour event. We had 12 officers out there, and we stopped 125 vehicles. And we said if we had more squads and more cops, we probably could have made more stops.
Wait a minute. So I said 2 weeks. You said 5 hours. This was just a 5-hour detail. One day, 5 hours, and you pulled over 125 people?
Correct. So beginning April 1st, we began our distracted driving campaign. And as a kickoff, we got together, had 12 officers out there, and in that 5-hour window, saw way too many people on their phones.
Is it difficult? I guess, well, let me ask you this first. When people get busted, do they admit it? Do they know that they're doing something that's dangerous? What kind of things do people say?
Yeah, I would say through my experience, most of the people when confronted admit. We are starting to see more people that are trying to be more sneaky with the phone, trying to hide it, keep it down. And we've had to adjust some of our enforcement efforts to try and detect that. Unfortunately, we're hoping people just put the phones down and drive safe.
Talking with Sergeant Josh Moore from the St. Paul Police Department. I know in some of the images I've seen from some of these citation traffic stops, you had somebody who was on the phone, texting on the phone, who sat through 2 cycles of green lights. I mean, people are that out to lunch on this.
Yeah, and we have a lot of undercover vehicles that we use to detect some of this stuff, but I've been in a fully marked squad car sitting next to people, recording them with my body camera or in-car camera, and they just oblivious to the fact that they're sitting next to you.
Yeah, and it is one of these questions, and we talk about it on this show. I'm sure you think about it too. This is one of these things where people know, everybody knows this is not a good idea, but people still do it. What do you think it's going to take to get people's behavior really to change?
Well, we know through citations we can change driving behavior, but we're looking for buy-in from the general public, and we are seeing gradual. People are starting to get the phone mounts, and just we try to educate as well, as far as set your destinations and the GPS before you drive. If you need to make a phone call, pull over, make that phone call. All of us have cell phones, and the technology is great, but when people use it, when they make bad decisions, that's when crashes are happening, and tragically, too many people are dying on the roadways from these bad choices.
Did you guys have special funding to do this, or is this just part of the regular duties, the regular work that you do heading up that sort of distracted driving mission?
So it's both. We through our patrol efforts, encourage officers to take this serious, and when they are available, if we see it, we'll address it. But we also have funding through the Towards Zero Death program that allows us to go out and do the extra enforcement. And I've been around this stuff a lot over the years, and had to go and tell families that people aren't coming home because of other people's poor choices. And if it means I got to write a ticket to get you to change your behavior so I don't have to go and make that message to that family, so be it.
Really appreciate the work that you and all the officers in St. Paul and throughout the state are doing. Just a staggering number. It really caught my attention today. 125 stops, almost 80 drivers cited for violating the hands-free law. Good work, and hopefully we can maybe make a difference just by getting this message out today. Thanks, Sergeant Moore.
Thanks again for your help. Have a good day.
Who is going to run for Senate out of Minnesota, the U.S. Senate race? That is our second story in the lead, because we have a little more information on who is not going to run, and that is U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar. She has closed the door, so to speak, on an effort to run for retiring Senator Tina Smith's U.S. Senate seat. Congresswoman Omar making that statement today that she's running for re-election in the 5th Congressional District. Already two Democrats have officially jumped in. The former Senate Minority Leader, Melissa Lopez Franzen, current Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan appears to be racking up all of the endorsements from the existing cabinet. The latest from Attorney General Keith Ellison coming her way. And the big question mark is what U.S. Representative Angie Craig will do. Will she run for governor if Tim Walz decides that he's going to keep leaving the state and going on his greatest hits tour? Will she run for this Senate race? So far, we don't know. That we don't know. But that is the latest update today on the question of who's going to run for Senate. With all of the changes going on at the federal level with policy towards electric vehicles, is now a good time or a bad time to buy an EV? It's a tricky question, right? Obviously, if you don't need a car, well, you don't need a car. But if you're in the market, is now a good time to act? To get insight, we go to Jukka Kononen, who is a professor at the University of St. Thomas. He teaches on the EV market and technology. Jukka, thanks for being with us on The Lead. Is now a good time or a bad time to buy an EV?
This is an excellent time to get an EV right now.
Now, why do you say that?
Well, we have over 100 new EV models to choose from, so availability is very good. We have excellent used vehicle of EV availability also in the market because we have increasing sales every year. And there are really, really good leasing deals for people.
The concern is that as the federal government pauses that $5 billion that was going to be used to build national electric vehicle infrastructure, so all those charging stations, I think Minnesotans have this range anxiety that they're going to get stuck somewhere. Does this federal change that or make you more concerned than maybe you were before?
Well, the range anxiety was a big deal 10 years ago when we had 100 miles range on these cars. But now average new EV range is over 280 miles. I hardly ever drive 280 miles a day. So majority of the charging happens at home. So that's one thing. And then that money part that you were talking about was just a small piece of the investment that is going into DC fast charging. So we might lose a portion of it, but there are other players who will be installing DC fast charging on our roads.
Are we seeing, what is the average range that you're seeing of the newer EVs on the market?
Yeah, over 280 miles of range right now.
I mean, most people in a normal day, if you drive 20 miles, even if you drive 40 miles to work and back home, on a typical day, I don't know, most of us aren't driving more than 100 miles, you know?
Yeah, that's true. The Department of Transportation actually looked at the data, and they said that 97% of driving trips in the U.S. are under 50 miles.
Yeah, it is. Now, obviously, we have seen challenges in Minnesota as the winter when you get really, really cold. That impacts things. But our winters haven't been that cold. So I don't know, like maybe some of the concerns are starting to melt away, and then it becomes just a cost factor, right? Do the dollars make out for people when they're buying these cars, especially if some of those $7,500, if the federal rebates go away?
Well, right now, again, the leasing deals are really good because the $7,500 tax credit is still in place. So that's why right now is a very good time to go there, because you could lease a new EV for like $300. And many people use that much for gas every month. And more you drive, more you actually save with EV.
Jukka Kokonen from the University of St. Thomas, EV consultant and expert. We appreciate it. That's The Lead. Page 2 is coming up next. How will weight loss drugs impact Minnesota food companies? And you are going to love this story about how some Minnesota Wild players are escaping the stress. Keyword escaping. Plus, we have a unique solution to food waste. Might be something to learn from that story as we stick around on Drive Time with DeRusha.
Drive Time with DeRusha is back after this on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So I am just going to go over to Certix.com right now because my friends Melissa and Taylor told me that they've got a big Easter sale going on. Yeah, now through April 19th, there is an Easter sale at Certix. Now, I was just over at Certix the other day checking out their cheese shop, and if you're making plans for Easter, certainly stopping at that cheese shop and looking for some just great cheeses from around the world, the charcuterie. They got the crackers. They got all sorts of things to make your Easter gathering just a little bit special, more special. But when you think about what do you pair with that Easter ham, I think Pinot Noir, and looking through some of the, man, these are terrific prices. They've got sales on some of my favorite Pinot Noirs from California, from the Willamette Valley. You know, do you want like more fruit? Do you want something a little more subtle? And with ham, you could go white wine too. And Certix has plenty of options for you in that regard. Rieslings are great. Cremant, champagne, sparkling wine, all of those options available for you at Certix. You can pre-shop that sale by going to Certix.com like I just did, or just go to the store. Ask for help in the aisle. Tell them you heard it on CCO. They're at the corner of University and Hennepin. They've been there for 91 years. They appreciate your support at Certix.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
I've got the rake out. I'm cleaning out my closets, and I'm looking at all of my old windows. It's Jason DeRusha for Window Nation. April is such a good time to spruce up around your house. Let's get rid of the old, drafty, ugly, hard-to-open windows and start fresh. Window Nation has an unbelievable deal right now. Buy 4, get 4 free. No limit to how much you could save it if you buy a house full of windows. They're including a free entry door as well. 0% financing, 0 down, no monthly payments. You're getting new windows today and paying Zippo until 2027. So how do they do it? Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation. They're building windows to their high quality specs, and Window Nation passes the savings on to you. You're protecting your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. This sale does end soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy 4, get 4 free. Schedule your free estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or get to windownation.com.
Most data breaches don't come from hackers. They come from old laptops and phones sitting in closets. Studies reveal that these neglected devices are a leading cause of data breaches. Recycling your electronics protects your data and the planet. At Electronics Recycling of Minnesota, we offer free, secure recycling services for both individuals and businesses, with certified data destruction options available as well. Protect your data. Protect the environment. Learn more at ecyclemn.com.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Or the joy of early bedtime? And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Why do you keep having this scumbag on? Wow. Noted scumbag. Sleaze bag is good too. I prefer noted scumbag. Yes.
Right? On News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRush Hour News headlines, page 2. I love this question in the Minnesota Star Tribune, looking at how will weight loss drugs impact Minnesota food companies?
Fattening.
Yeah. Well, the answer is probably hugely. So you got your Ozempic, your Trulicity, you know, all the brand name meds. People on those drugs are eating far less packaged food. Will people join over the years to come? We don't know. An estimated 10% of Americans are using appetite-suppressing medications. The food companies are sort of waving off the impact of GLP-1 drugs. I mean, don't you want to? It is a conundrum. PricewaterhouseCoopers found GLP-1 users' food spending drops by 11%. So you're spending 11% less. You're people who were probably heavy food consumers. Nestle and Conagra have released products explicitly targeting Ozempic users. General Mills has just announced plans to market to people on GLP-1s. It's tricky because if you say, hey, formerly fatty, come over here and have this Progresso Pitmaster soup. That'll be good. And this protein-enhanced Nature Valley bar. I bet you'd like that. And then when you say that, then it's like, oh, well, don't pay any. Don't worry about all this other stuff that actually is most of our business. It's a tricky balance. Hormel Foods says GLP-1s have created a great opportunity for Jennie-O Turkey. The analysts are saying these drugs are not going to put the big food companies out of business, but expect if these drugs stay around, which they probably will, package sizes, prices, ingredients, all are going to be changing as demand is reduced. Minnesota Wild players escaping some of the stress of this season in an escape room.
Zuccarello, back to Kaprizov, he scores!
This is such a fun story in the sports section, the Star Tribune. Talking about Jared Spurgeon, Jake Middleton. Jake Middleton had been lobbying for years to get his teammates to go with him to the escape room. Middleton, when he was back with San Jose and a couple of Sharks players, would find a spot. So when you get to another city, when you're traveling, you're probably bored sometimes, right? So they find a spot. Middleton got the wives involved. They sort of ran it, and they've competed 3 times around the Twin Cities going in the afternoon. Sometimes sandwiching it between a lunch or brunch or after-school pickup for Spurgeon's kids. I ran into Spurgeon once.
That's right.
At like a mini golf thing with his family over in Edina. But why not? Why not?
Have you tried an escape room before?
I have. I like it.
I did it once, and I made sure that the smartest friends that I have were there. That's a helpful strategy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sarah McClellan. Very cool story. Pretty fun. Kind of the fun, normal life side of some of these guys. New York Times with a unique solution one state is using to go after food waste.
Now we have a composting option here at Charlie's Place. You can help save the earth by putting your food scraps in the green bin.
Yeah. Oh, the bins, the composting. Oof. In Massachusetts, there's a state regulation that requires like businesses, restaurants and apartments and whatever to keep food out of dumpsters. So how do you do it? They use a 63-year-old food waste reduction consultant named Heather Billings. So Heather Billings drives around the state, goes through people's dumpsters, and makes some suggestions. She goes to one restaurant. It's like, well, you might. This is retail politics, really. One by one, trying to make a difference. In the journal Science, they took a look at the half dozen states that have laws that require composting. Massachusetts had gone the farthest in reducing total waste in the landfill. California and Vermont had made a dent in it as well. It's hard. If you're at a restaurant, do people working in the kitchen have to go far to dispose of compost? Are the dumpsters clearly labeled so employees know what they're doing? Can restaurants save money by reducing their trash volume? Yes. Is there enough organic waste to send to a facility that turns that back into fuel? Lots of questions. Organics, it's a tough one. We waste so much food, but trying to figure out how to get people to consume the appropriate amount on the front end is tricky, and then what to do with the waste. The city of Crookston now has a huge marketing team of students. I love this story in the Minnesota Daily, where some senior year marketing students at University of Minnesota Crookston are working with the local government. So they came up with a marketing plan in 2022, and then each semester they do something else, work with different parts of the local government, conduct marketing research. It's free for the city, great learning experience for the kids, the perfect use of a public university. 5:32, that is the DeRusha Hour news headlines. We appreciate you listening. You can always follow along on YouTube. Give us a subscribe at WCCO Radio on YouTube. When we come back, I was watching the president's cabinet meeting today, and it gave me a great idea for the way we're going to run family meetings at the DeRusha household coming forward. I think you might be inspired by what I heard today, and we'll play it for you next.
We need a quick pit stop. Then Jason DeRusha continues on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Put those arms wide out and do the Lindahl. It's Jason for my friend Chris Lindahl. This is an uncertain time, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. We do not know what's going to happen with the housing market, with interest rates. We just don't know. There is a guarantee out there for you in this uncertainty season. I mean, right now, I don't know if I need an umbrella or a parka or a hat. Or everything's uncertain. This is a guarantee. The guaranteed cash offer. Guaranteed cash offer from my buddy Chris Lindahl. Now, Chris and I worked together last year as I was looking to buy a condo. And I got a chance up close to see really what an innovator this guy is. Kind and generous, too. He's more than just the arms wide out billboard guy, right? When you accept a guaranteed cash offer, you get a guarantee. Your house will be sold. You will pick your closing date. You will pick your moving date. No one will go through your house. No, neighbors going through your house. No sign in your front yard. No commission paid to some real estate agent. Trust the number one real estate team. I do. Chris Lindahl Real Estate has earned more than 4,000 four-star reviews. 30,000 people with properties of all kinds. Life comes at you. Sometimes you need to sell fast. Get the money you deserve with the guaranteed cash offer. You can get that offer at chrislindahl.com today.
Ever had a genius take at 2 a.m.?
I have a suggestion for the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Or the perfect comeback 3 hours too late?
I've had enough of Governor Walz. Quit whining.
Don't let it go to waste. Leave us a message on the Odyssey app whenever inspiration strikes.
If we don't have the money to give them, then they're just going to go to other places.
Right next to the Listen Live button, there's a microphone. Just hit it to record your thoughts, then send to the studio for playback.
Keep up the good work.
If calling or texting is not an option, leave a voice message anytime on the free Odyssey app.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more. This doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Danny Long back once again with Ron Esau from Great Garage Floors. Ron and his company came out to my house years ago, and I love that epoxy floor. I know we're going to talk about how easy it is to keep clean, Ron, but there's absolutely no pressure, is there?
Yeah, we just come out really to try to educate the customer on how we do our process, and we give you a quote, and there's really no pressure to get it done. We want you to think about your spring projects, line them up. And if this is a priority this year, we'll get it done for you.
And you bring samples of that work too, don't you?
You sure bet we do.
And this is a good time of year, not only, to keep the garage floor clean for spring and summer and fall, but graduation parties. We always like to talk about that too, don't we?
Yeah, they come up and, this is the backup room. This is the backup room for that rain that may come, or a big windy day, or you want to set up the buffet. It's a nice, good-looking spot to do that.
952-473-8600, or get on the web at greatgaragefloorsforyou.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Linda's Construction, lindasconstruction.com. I-35 northbound, County Road 50. Crash cleared out. All lanes opened up. Still jammed up though as you come up from County Road 70. Southbound slowing as you come down from the Burnsville split. West 694, Silver Lake Road. Crash off to the right. Traffic is backed up and stacked up as you make way past Victoria Street. You're going to be traveling on Highway 100. That's slow both directions between Highway 62 and 394. West 94 into Minneapolis. That's jammed up as you move past town. April is a great time to call Linda's Construction. You can get free installation labor on quality Leaf Guard brand gutters and siding. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
In its centennial year, the DAV of Minnesota remains dedicated to helping thousands of veterans access the benefits they've earned. And you can make a difference. Volunteer to transport veterans, advocate for improved programs, or donate today at davmn.org.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather's brought to you by DAV of Minnesota. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The rain clears out tonight and we warm up big time. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high up near 60. We'll stay partly cloudy on Saturday. About the only negative, it is going to be fairly breezy, but we'll warm up to the upper 60s. I think we hit the upper 60s again Sunday. Still a bit breezy, but we'll have a chance of rain showers.
Right now it's cloudy, 48 degrees on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
He does an incredible job, and he's not only a great announcer, but an even better person. So,
wow.
DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Get your booze on.
So one of the great ways you can communicate with us on the show is by sending a voice message using the Odyssey app. There's a listen live button. So a lot of people stream the show in their cars or while they're at home or whatever using the Odyssey app. And right next to the listen live button, there's a microphone where you can send us a message and maybe help solve my problems. And my problem today is trying to find robin's eggs, which is an Easter candy. And we got this voice message, Dan, with perhaps a potential solution.
This is Ron in Minneapolis who says,
Whoppers of robin eggs at the Cub in Northeast at the quarry. Take a ride up there.
There it is. Very helpful. Very helpful. We got a lot of texts that indicated Aldi. Tell Jason they have them at Kowalski's. That's good. That's another text. Aldi has them at a fantastic price. Regina's Candy in St. Paul.
Sounds like they're all over the place.
Just not where I've looked.
Apparently, the stores around you are conspiring.
Can't rule it out.
To prevent you from getting your
It's possible
Robin's
I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem.
Not saying, I'm just saying.
So around the lunchtime today, I was watching the president's cabinet meeting, and full disclosure, like I wasn't intending to watch the president's cabinet
We're
meeting.
breaking out the popcorn?
No. But, I was watching CNN, and there it was, and there's the president. And you kind of go around the room. I have never seen this before. I think he's broadcast one of these cabinet meetings before.
I think he might have done a couple so far.
Yeah.
This might have been like the third.
And I give President Donald Trump a ton of credit.
Absolutely.
The cameras are there for all the things. And in contrast to the last administration, I welcome it.
They might have done 3 of these
Yes.
On camera over the 4 years of the Biden administration. Maybe.
That said, I've never worked for a regular corporation where where the big shots sit around in front of the CEO and smooch a smooch. But what I heard today was remarkable.
Under your leadership, like so many other industries, we are going to revitalize and make shipbuilding and maritime great again.
And so just being a part of that is the greatest honor. So thank you for that. And I think they are really, really excited and so grateful for your leadership.
On the budget, it's moving quickly in the House and the Senate, thanks to your leadership.
That's who's coming in to talk to you and to your advisors about how to have reciprocal trade, how to have fair trade. What have happened with that?
Thanks to your leadership and setting the mandate of transparency and accountability across the U.S. government, I'm bringing that transparency and accountability to the intelligence community.
So just reordering all of that has dramatic implications on the peace and security of the world. So we thank you.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership at the border. For the second month in a row, you have broken the record in the history of the nation for the lowest number of encounters at the border.
So every once in a while at home, we have family meetings, right? Where Alyssa and the kids and I sit around the table and talk about stuff. And, Dan gave you a little more the context of what was happening. But what I was hearing was sort of my potential opportunity as the patriarch of my family, of how I would want the other participants in the family meeting to say things.
Thanks to your leadership.
Thanks to your leadership.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership.
That's more the that was the whole meeting.
Thanks to your leadership.
Thanks to your leadership.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership.
For those of you who have been in the corporate world, is this how it is? Like, do you sit around the CEO and you're like, well, we've got some improvements on the assembly line thanks to your leadership. Yeah. I don't know. I just couldn't stop laughing. Person after person. Thanks for your leadership.
Thanks to your leadership.
Thanks to your leadership.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership.
They just went around the room and everybody thanked him for his leadership. And he sat there stone-faced. Almost like, I know you sycophants are just kissing my butt and I'm not really that impressed. And also, this is the assignment. Like, do you think it was the main thing is to humiliate all of these people, to remind them how much they are nothing? Just was goofy. It just was goofy. Texters. Ha ha, butt kissers. No wonder Trump is so open for his meetings. Another texter, they haven't figured out. Another texter, this is why you are so biased. Where was this music with all the Biden follies over the past few years when he could barely talk or walk?
The most predictable text in the history of text.
Yeah.
We just ripped him 30 seconds ago. And yeah, he was getting ripped all through his administration here. This is selective listening and just
fine.
wanting to grab.
Whatever. Believe what you want.
It's silly.
Also, making fun of the cabinet for being sycophants, I would say is less offensive than running a bunch of clips making fun of an old man. Now, did we call out the old man? Yes, absolutely.
Repeatedly.
I, on this show, was called, for how many years was I accused of being an ageist for saying that I didn't think that Joe Biden should run again?
Yeah.
So you can save it or you can text it. I don't care, man. Believe what you want to believe. What do I care?
Thanks to your leadership.
Thanks to your leadership.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership.
Dan, I'm going to give you an opportunity to recap the show in Trump cabinet style. I'll give you a moment to gather your thoughts because I really want you. I just want you to get it right. I'm not threatening you if you get it wrong. It's just an opportunity for you to thank me for my tremendous leadership.
Well, thank you for your leadership, Jason, because based upon your leadership, we were able to talk about the absolutely insane idea of taxing social media early on in the show. And then based on your tremendous leadership, we shifted mid-segment, not having to take a break. Thank you, Minnesota Twins, who lost again today, unfortunately, because apparently your leadership didn't extend to that team. Had they used your leadership, maybe they would have won today. But thank you for your leadership because we ended up then shifting to DeRusha Eats, where we talked about how late is too late to have a dinner reservation.
Yeah.
And does it vary from place to place or from culture to culture?
That was my idea.
And thank you again for your tremendous leadership on that. And then, of course, in the lead, thanks to your leadership, we were able to talk to Sergeant Josh Moore from the St. Paul Police Department.
Yeah.
Folks, put down the phones when you're driving.
Yeah.
Jason's leadership would not lead you to be on your phone while you're driving.
Correct.
And then, of course, we had page 2 where we talked about, thanks again to your leadership on page 2, we talked about the effect higher prices or effect, of the weight loss medications would have on Minnesota food companies, on which, again, thanks to your leadership, so many of us would depend. So we thank you again for your leadership.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. And because you've done such a fine job, I'm going to let you hit the button and we'll talk about ProTurf.
Thanks to your leadership.
Thanks to your leadership.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRusha coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Well, I would like to thank the ProTurf people for their leadership because they are absolutely getting it done when it comes to taking care of Minnesotans' lawns, when it comes to servicing irrigation systems, no matter what the brand is. But I want to talk a little bit about the landscape work that they do at ProTurf. And you can see some of the amazing work they do at professionalturf.com. A lot of us think about making improvements inside our homes, but have you updated and upgraded your home's landscape? Most landscape plants last about 30 years, and then they're overgrown, they're unusable, they're no good. Most of us still have the same landscaping from when our house was built. ProTurf provides professional design at no charge included when you purchase a landscape project. Now, they do everything. It could be a simple foundation. It could be a landscape removal and replacement. They could redo your whole property, and think of how fun that would be, right? Hardscape paver, patios, driveways, sidewalks, block and boulder retaining walls. Yeah, they could do a fire pit for you. But wouldn't it be awesome to do something big? Go to professionalturf.com to see their work or make a call. 952-469-8680. No people regret redoing their landscape. Don't wait. Get it done with professionalturf.com.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
If you need to sell your home, know that even if you can't time the market out perfectly, your home can still sell for the most money possible. Hey, it's Vanita. That is, if you hire my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster, and his team with the John Schuster Group. Coldwell Banker Realty. Wendy and Brian were living in the western suburbs. They didn't have much time to wait for their home to sell. A lot of stress involved. They'd heard about John here on CCO Radio. They decided to give him a call. It was the right decision. John taught them his blueprint for success, and they followed it. They picked the marketing plan they wanted and got $30,000 over the asking price. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Chad back here with you on CCO. Always a pleasure when I get the chance to talk about Pella Windows and Doors, this great company celebrating 100 years in business. My house I'm living in now, yeah, a customer of Pella for 20-some years, moving to a new place, yeah, Pella Windows and Doors. They will come out for a free, no-obligation visit. You can go to their place, Plymouth and Woodbury, their showroom. Great deal right now. $750 off your Pella project and 0% APR for 12 months. PellaNorthland.com.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you in part by Whole Foods Market, shop in store, online. Crash still working for West 694 past Silver Lake Road off to the right side. Slowdowns continue as well as you come in from Highway 10. Things are jammed up for South 35W trying to make way into downtown Minneapolis as you move past Industrial Boulevard. Looking at the crosstown, you're going to find eastbound run pretty slow, Gleason all the way over to Cedar. Shop your favorite brands at Whole Foods Market. Get 30% off select Annie's products with Prime through April 22nd. Find delicious snacks and bites for the whole family. While supplies last, shop in store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Spring is here. The birds are singing and temps are rising. Whether it's an AC tune-up or you need system repairs, take care of your air conditioner before the summer heat arrives. Be worry-free with your AC and visit AquariusHomeservices.com today.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
All right, the weather is brought to you by Aquarius Home Services. Tonight, mostly cloudy and 38. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and 59. Saturday looks good with the high of 68. Showers possible Sunday. I hope not. I want to go to the Twins game Sunday afternoon. High around 68. That seems fun, doesn't it? Right now, it's 48 and cloudy on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
I know everybody thinks I'm a Trump hater, but I think President Trump got something right yesterday, Dan. And it's about showers. I know this feels like minor, and it is kind of funny the way I think Donald Trump talked about it today, in fact. Talked about wanting to get the shower head water pressure back up so it would wash his, I believe the quote was his beautiful hair.
Tremendous pressure.
The executive order, is to make America's showers great again. I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair, was the quote. Look, I hate the low flow water. I hate it.
Can you executive order that though? I mean,
he can,
I guess.
in his first. This is hilarious to me that, first of all, should the president of the United States have this much authority over the water pressure of our showers? Like, I don't think so. Sell a low flow, sell a high flow. Let the people
market
decide.
Yeah.
And the amount of water I'm using in this is part of my issue with a lot of the focus and the way we talk about conservation, the way we talk about the environment. All of the push gets put onto us, the regular person, instead of like the real abusers of our natural resources, which are giant plants that are using water like crazy in production. And certainly in the agricultural segment, there are lots of questions about resources and all of that. Like, my shower is sinking the water situation in the world. Come on.
I mean, how long are you in the shower, Jason?
Now, Trump said he has to stand in the shower for 15 minutes until his hair gets wet. That is just pure BS. It's so silly. What you do is you end up washing your hands 5 times longer, he says. Also crazy. Like, this is the thing. Even now, look what I've done. Even when I 100% agree with the result, I'm like, you know what? Honestly, thank you, Donald Trump, for
thanks to your leadership.
Thanks to your leadership.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership.
I cannot wait to buy a new shower head. Oh my God. Plus, like, with all the hair I have now, thanks to the Hair Restoration Institute in Minnesota, I had to get some extra hair to make the longer shower worth.
Hey, sports fans, Postman Law delivers. We've recovered over $3 billion for injured clients. From fender benders to major accidents, our team tackles the tough stuff, letting you focus on recovery. Dial 844-POSTMAN now. Postman delivers speed, ease, and results. Offices, Minneapolis.
All right, let's talk about Livia Weight Control Centers. It's Jason here. I was just at the Livia Weight Control Centers in Coon Rapids this morning. If you join right now, you're going to get 8 weeks free. 8 weeks free. Livia has been changing so many lives over the last 15 years, more than 1 million pounds lost. 30,000 people, their lives changed with Livia. Just amazing. My life has been transformed. 45 pounds gone, but keeping that weight off for 2.5 years, that's pretty dang amazing. Livia's got personalized solutions for you, and they've got the medical weight loss options as well. GLP-1s, great prices on that, but they partner it with that personalized coaching and personalized support so you have long-lasting change. Reach out to Livia. 8 weeks free at 855-GO-LIVIA or hit them up online. You can join at livia.com.
Ugh, spring. Tried cleaning your air ducts and floors? Helps with allergies. Who has time? Use Coit. They clean air ducts, hardwood floors, upholstery, blinds, carpet, all the stuff that makes spring allergies worse. Great price and guarantee.